Hello and welcome to Tech Report on Sky News Business. When most of us think about apps for mobile devices, it's the focus generally on the consumer-focused apps that come to mind. Mobile solutions for businesses, on the other hand, have very different purposes. They have to be highly specific to business operations, work in with existing IT and deliver a commercial advantage. So how exactly can apps achieve these complex goals? Well, for more on the challenges of enterprise mobility, we are joined by Darren Besgrove from BlinkMobile. Great to see you, Darren. Thank you for coming in to tell us a bit more about this, BlinkMobile Interactive. Just in terms of, I guess, you know, the focus on consumer apps, if you like. Yes. Obviously, what you're doing is quite different. Can you give us some examples?
It is very different because we're looking at effectively work processes and the business efficiencies that can be gained by using mobile technologies. Users with their consumer apps are almost driving this initiative within corporations because they know what they can do with their consumer apps. They know that they can find places, take photographs, pinpoint things, and they're now looking as users within organisations to say, why can't we be doing this at work? This would add a lot of value to my work day. This would save me time, save the organisation money, make things more efficient.
So who are some of the corporations that you work with?
We have a number of clients right across all industry sectors, all levels of government, state, federal and local. Local government is a big user of our technologies. Queensland Airports Limited, with their 5 regional airports in North Queensland, is a big user. Other clients include universities, transport, logistics, really anywhere where you've got a large number of work processes, work practices going on, across a diverse user group is a prime sort of client for us.
Is it sort of a perhaps undiscovered area as well for many businesses and organisations?
Very much so. As we mentioned, the consumer apps have almost led the charge, and now what you're seeing in businesses is a number of sort of horizontal, almost productivity type apps, so file sharing, those kinds of things, but they're not really creating any differentiation for an organisation. So the next wave is how an organisation looks at mobility to build business efficiency, build innovation, and create systems of differentiation for those organisations that they can gain competitive advantage from, and that really is what we're seeing as the next wave.
So what are the benefits? What are we talking here?
You're really talking about time saving, better customer service, better delivery of services, and even though some of the time savings you might talk about an hour, half an hour, even less in a day, but when you can multiply that every day across many people and across many of their activities, the savings really stack up quite quickly.
Mm-hmm. In terms, though, I guess, of some of the challenges here, obviously it's quite a complex area. You've got to work in with existing IT systems, for example. I mean, how do you approach that?
Very, very much so. It is a complex area. You've got devices which are changing, almost daily. You've got devices which are very, very varied. Particularly if the organisation allows users to use their own devices. You've got integration with back-end systems. It is a very, very complex area, and that's essentially why our system is there. We almost like to refer to ourselves as an information logistics provider. Like organisations have always outsourced delivery of physical logistics to people like, Toll or DHL, because they've got the expertise and that scalable sort of infrastructure. That's what we're offering organisations now. Don't try and do this yourself in-house. Don't try and just go out and build one-off apps. Look at an infrastructure that allows me to deploy mobile solutions as and where I need them, almost instantaneously, on the back of a well-built, well-managed infrastructure, which is essentially what we've put in place, in the cloud.
Just finally,
Sure.
I wanted to ask you, I mean, having said all of that, though, is it possible for a business, is a bit nervous about this, a bit cautious to start small rather than, or is it an all or nothing?
No. All or nothing is definitely not the way to go. Starting small is very, very achievable. You can look at a work practice or two, work with the employee groups, figure out that that's worked, adjust it very, very quickly. It needs to be agile. Roll on to the next project, and we because we do operate in the cloud, that ability to scale and just ramp up as you need to is something our system's geared up to do. So starting with a pilot across, you know, some of our organisations have started with 12 employees. They might have 1,000 employees, but their first project was working with just 12 employees and getting that working and almost getting your feet wet and then moving on to the next big project.
Really interesting. Darren, thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Darren Besgrove there, the Director and COO at BlinkMobile Interactive.